You're listening to the Two Tongues Podcast. And now your hosts, Kyle and Chris.
Here we are.
Welcome back, one and all.
Welcome back to your bi-monthly chit chat show at this point.
My bi-monthly chit chat show. We haven't been the greatest. I say we, but lately I was just sort of responsible for it.
Yeah, well, life happens, as they say.
Life comes at you fast.
As they say, life does come at you fast. That's another thing that they say. I've heard many people say that.
What commercial was that? Life comes at you fast. Was that? It was an insurance company.
I didn't know it was a commercial, to be honest with you.
Yeah, man, you remember that?
Life comes at you fast. Is that the? It's not the one with chaos, is it?
I think I don't know. It's possible.
Yeah, maybe.
That was a good one. What commercials do you remember fondly? Are there any that you say that you find yourself either singing or saying?
I don't quote commercials that often. I remember old school ones from my childhood, like what's up? I remember that kind of stuff. Budweiser, the Budweiser frogs.
Follow your nose.
I don't remember that one.
Fruit Loops.
Oh yeah,
it was probably what Toucan Sam has an accent, but I can't do
Jamaican or something probably.
Wasn't it like Australian or something? Follow your nose. Sometimes I'll say that.
You'll say follow your nose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I
don't think I've ever said that.
Sometimes I say the colors, Duke. The colors.
What's that?
Was it like zebra stripe gum or something like that?
I remember zebra stripe gum. I don't remember that though.
All right, let's find out.
Now that I'm thinking about it, maybe it is ringing some kind of a bell, but
the colors, Duke, the colors.
I don't think I would have been able to come up with it.
Perplexity, what's that from? Oh, it was Nestle Quick? Nestle Quick, really? The colors, Duke. Yeah. Oh, it was a colorblind kid. Anyway, that's one that pops to mind.
I remember like commercials that had hot ladies in them.
Yeah,
what was that noise?
I don't know. I'll investigate.
Oh,
here it is.
As long as we're not about to blow up or anything,
everything's fine.
I remember Doritos 3D. They had a commercial with some attractive woman, Allie Landry, maybe. She was a pretty lady from back in that point in time.
I remember, yeah. Allie Landry, she's like in one of those Western shows that got all popular recently.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
she's like, no, she was an actress, to be honest with you.
Allie Landry?
Yeah.
Isn't she the one from wasn't she the one from with the shit? This I Don't Want Your Life from that movie.
Oh, Varsity Blues.
Varsity Blues. Wasn't she the whipped cream bikini girl in Varsity Blues?
No. That was Amy Smart, I think.
Really? Let's find out.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was Amy
Perplexity.
Smart.
Who was the whipped cream bikini girl in Varsity? Oh, that's not how you spell Varsity Blues.
See if my memory is holding up.
So everybody says Allie Larder, motherfucker. Ha. I remember these things. That was my prime.
But it wasn't Allie Landry, is who I said was in the commercial.
You said Allie Landry, and I was thinking Allie Larder the whole time. Who is Allie Landry?
She's just like a model lady.
Let's find out.
Allie Larder was in Heroes, I think.
Oh, this lady. She was Miss USA in 1996.
Well,
in case anybody was interested. Let's see. Can I full screen this?
Can I full screen this?
Here we go. Allie. There we go. This way people can see who we mean.
Who we talking about?
Allie. Does anybody remember Allie Landry? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she was in a Doritos commercial back in the Dizzy, which was a Wednesday, according to Dan Cook.
As opposed to Allie Larder, ladies and gentlemen, who looks... Oh, come on. Why is this not
gorgeous?
All right, listen. I'm done with that. Done with it. I'm just done with it. All right, let's see. I have a whole list of things here to talk about that have been accumulating because we haven't got together in a while. But before I get into the prepared remarks, what's going on, man? What else? What's going on?
It's getting warmer outside.
That it is.
That's kind of nice.
I had to take the tree down in the front yard. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah, I
I
noticed.
had a giant bald spot in the grass. And it's like the bane of my existence, trying to keep up with the lawn throughout the year. Like I don't know why I feel a duty to like keep it nice and like keep the dandelions out and stuff. But it's a lot of work, man. And the seeding the lawn and getting all the bald spots to kind of fill in, it's like a constant battle, man. It's like an old man battle that we all have to. It's like it's like our D-Day after the age of 40. It's fighting with the lawn to keep it looking nice, and it's really difficult. Especially here because we have very little topsoil. It's all clay here, and then like the sun conditions are very different everywhere. So the point is, rather than seeding it, what I did was I went into the back and I took with a shovel. I took the sod out and I planted it like a toupee, piece by piece, like a freaking jigsaw puzzle. I spent it took me probably 2 or 3 hours to do it all, and then I just soaked the crap out of it. And kind of like walked on it to kind of get it to incorporate into the existing soil. And I had no idea if it was going to work, but I think I just like happened to do it at the right time, like right before things started going crazy with the growing season in the early spring. And it just took, man. So in the front, when you pull up, you could not tell that, a couple weeks ago, there was giant bald spots. It's not perfect, but I am fucking happy about it.
Yeah.
I feel like I won a strategic battle in this war against the dandelions and the bald spots.
Yeah. So like, how often are you out there doing shit to your grass?
Dude, I'm out there. So I put the like the weed and feed stuff that I have to sprinkle on the yard or whatever with the whatever the thing is, the pushy wheelie spinny thingy, and then I have to take a sprayer out there for weeds. And I have to hit them up. It's like every week when I mow the lawn, I'm hitting them. I'm spraying all the guy, like the survivors, like the hardy boys that didn't die from the chemicals that killed all of its boys, like the fucking survivors with the pecs, like the dandelions with the just. Who's that guy? That guy with the pecs that used to fight Jean-Claude Van Damme back in the day.
Yeah.
He was just pecs. What's that guy's name? Let's find out.
Peck guy. Asian peck man.
Who was the Asian guy with the pecs who fought Van Damme back in the day? I'm pretty sure the AI can understand what I'm asking.
Guy with the pecs.
Bolo Young.
Bolo Young.
You guys remember Bolo? Hold on.
Good old Bolo Young.
See, Bolo Young. I'm going to show you guys because I don't want you to think that
Bologna.
I don't want you to think I'm weird for calling him the pet guy. When you see, look at him.
That's the pet guy.
That's the guy. Hold on. This is really the image that I'm talking about. I'm going to do this. Open a new tab. There we go. Boom. And then we're going to show this one for you. Tell me if you guys remember Bolo. Bolo. Look at him.
Bolo, the pet guy Young.
He's like at least 27% pectorals, this guy. But he was the only one that would challenge Van Damme's greatness.
Yeah.
And so it was an important battle. It was a representation of good versus evil.
Yeah.
Where the good guy was white and the bad guy was Asian.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're not allowed to have that anymore. Now the bad guy's what? They're not Arabs anymore. For a while they were. The Hollywood bad guys. Oh, they're white guys now, right? The villains are all white guys in Hollywood now, right?
Yeah, most of the time.
But they're not Russian white guys like they were in the 80s and early 90s.
Fashion white guys.
Yeah.
They're...
What is it about the Russian accent that's so appropriately villainy? Is that something villainy, like as it associates in my mind a man who was a villain just because they talk that way? Is that indoctrination from the late 80s? From
Probably, yeah.
And it just stuck with me all these years. And when I hear that, I'm like, villain.
Yeah, I think so.
But it's still propaganda. I mean, I don't know if it's appropriate to call it propaganda, but still the way that Russia is talked about in the media is still like one of our great adversaries or something.
Yeah. Still.
And none of us ever thought like an Arab was an appropriate villain until 9/11. And then it was.
Really?
Oh, no, not 9/11. Because I guess the Iranian hostage thing, there was like Arab villains back then, right?
Yeah.
That would have been the 80s.
I feel like Indiana Jones was like beating up some Arabs back in the day and people were cool with it. That was before 9/11. You know?
We got way off the topic and the audience is just looking at Bolo still.
Bolo, yeah. They are just still looking at the pet guy.
The pet guy. But that's what I mean.
Bolo Young.
Any other interesting observations about villains in Hollywood?
Think that Bolo Young is related to Carl Young in any way? Think there's any kind of relation going on there? Probably not. Oh man.
Carl. Probably not.
Probably not.
I don't think it's not even spelled close to the same.
Yeah, but it's like the Asian version, you know?
Yeah.
So like maybe if Carl Young was born in.
Let me tell you about Carl Jung for just a second.
Was he born in Asia?
No. I love Carl Jung. He's one of my favorite thinkers. I love him. When I read Carl Jung's Red Book, I feel like I'm reading Holy Scripture. I'm serious about that. I get this. I might as well tell you. I was going to talk about this on another podcast, and maybe I still will, and maybe I've told you before, but when I was a kid, I was probably like 12 or 13, and I decided to read the Book of Revelation, and I was like laying in my bedroom, reading the Book of Revelation, and my dad comes down the hallway. He's like, Chris, it's dinner time. And I was like, I can't remember what I said, but it was something like, holy shit, or God damn, or something like that. And I wasn't supposed to be saying those words, certainly not in front of my dad, but he startled me when I was in the middle of this super intense passage. And if you read the Book of Revelation, you know what I mean? You start going and it's just like, it starts rolling and you read it faster and faster. It is like you're getting emotional reading it because it's so graphic and so strange and so powerful. And I get this feeling for the first time that I'm reading something that has a meaning that is more than fiction. And part of that might be just I was expecting because the Book of Revelation is a mysterious book, and I never read it. And I was reading it for the first time, and I was young and naive. But it is a powerful book, and I literally was so caught up in it that I cursed in front of my dad. And it was just like a weird thing that I never would have really done that, but I did that. And he was like, "What did you say?" And I was like, sorry, Dad. I was reading the Book of Revelation." And you know what he said? "Oh, okay." Like, oh, I totally understand. So when I read Carl Jung's Red Book, I feel like that. And I associate that feeling with like some intuition that what I'm reading is like divine somehow. And I didn't feel that way reading anything else, but the Book of Revelation I did. And I don't know that I've necessarily felt that way really again, maybe like shadows of it. But when I read the Red Book, there's times and like lately too, I'm reading it, I'm like, I feel that, man. I'm like, I feel like Carl Jung.
I feel like cursing in front of your dad.
I feel like cursing in front of my dad. No, like something about it. Like, I don't know if it's blasphemous to say that the Red Book is like legitimate scripture, but it's just, I feel that, I get that feeling, that weird, hard to explain aura when I read that book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't it a really long book?
It's not super duper long.
Is that the whole thing? This
is the whole thing, but it's super intense. It's like 600 pages.
That's not that bad. I thought it was longer.
It's super intense, man. The chapter I'm on now is called The Sacrificial Murder. Dude, this thing, man, it is gnarly. It goes to hell. Man, I wish I could like read you a bit of it, but I don't know which one would kind of illustrate. I literally read it to my wife, and she was like, she's a good sport. She doesn't care at all. She doesn't have any idea why I'm enthusiastic about it. She's just placating me, you know? And I'm like, I gotta read you this.
Yeah.
And I'm up there reading it to her. And this is the feeling I get. Remember when you were a little kid and you were like riding your bike down the street, your mom's in the front yard, you're riding your bike down the street and you're like, "Look, Mom, no hands for a second." Oh, and you think you just fucking pulled off a trick like a dope trick, and you want your mom to be proud of you. And then she was like, like, "Oh, Kyle, yeah, good. But she didn't even really look. She was like messing with it. She's like, were you looking?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'm looking," but she's gardening or something. Yeah. That's how I felt. That's the impression my wife gave me when I was like, "You got to hear this." And I read it, and she's like, "That's great, Chris. That's great."
Yeah.
It's like dismissive and not intentionally, but she didn't give a shit.
Yeah, it's just feigning interest.
That's it. Yeah. But I appreciate it. It's like,
yeah. So that's all people can do sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. Like that's a super respectful thing to do. It's like indulge me just for a second. And even though you don't care and you're annoyed, just, you can sense that it's important to me. And you're just like,
Yep.
Yeah.
Say it to me.
Yeah. Go ahead and say it. Let's get it out of here. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. I do think that's respectful, because she could have just said, I don't give a shit about this. You're wasting my time. I'm doing something for Christ's sake. And she could have been justified in saying it, but she didn't.
Yeah.
What a gal.
Yep.
You ever read anything that gave you that sense that it was special?
Not like that. No. I mean, I've read things that I've been like, wow, that's really compelling.
Yeah.
It's very good. But not that I was like, this is scripture.
Yeah. Man, it's interesting. So this last couple chapters I've been reading in this book, I'm gonna do an episode, an opinion scholarship episode about it. But it was like the first these like 3-chapter sequence that's like the most like folk tale, like myth like stories or visions that he has in the entire book. And like I'll just give you a flavor of it where he encounters this creature. I think I might have told you this. He encounters this creature on his journey to the land of the rising sun. He's going to the east because that's where he thinks he can find like mystical, spiritual knowledge. He has to go to the east for that. So he's traveling to the east. And while he's on his path to the east, he finds like a giant supernatural being. And it's actually Gilgamesh is the person that he bumps into. But this character represents mythology and God, but like cross-culturally. So he has all these qualities that are associated with God in different cultures. He's a giant. He has a big beard. His beard is filled with like flecks of gold and gemstones because he lives like underground, and he has like dwarf-like qualities, but he's a giant. And he has a double-sided axe that he carries. He's covered in armor, like glistening armor. And he represents the divine, the spiritual, the unconscious, all that stuff. And Jung represents the opposite of that in this vision. And when they get to talking, and he asks the giant where he's going, and the giant says basically he's trying to capture the sun. Like he's going after the sun because he's the great hero, and this is the great like trophy. He's going to go capture the greatest possible thing is the sun. So that's what he's off doing.
Yeah.
Well, so the giant's on this mission coming west, and Jung is on this mission going east, and they're kind of on like parallel missions, and they encounter each other. And Jung in their conversation tells him, he's like, "Oh, you're after the sun." He's like, "Well, but the sun is in outer space. It's infinitely far away. How do you expect to get to the sun?" And when he says this to the giant, it like injures him because he's faced with this scientific knowledge that is counter to his whole reality.
Yeah.
And he realizes that he can never actually accomplish this task that he wants to accomplish because the scientific knowledge has like taken it from him. But in the vision, it turns out to be like a mortal blow. He's poisoned. So Jung, with science, has poisoned God, and God is dying from it. So this is the image. Science is killing God. And, in a sense, that's a grand analogy of what happens in the culture over the last several hundred years. Science is killing God. That's what's happening. But Jung loves God, and he's out on a quest for God, and he can't leave this. He can't like finish his quest and leave God that he's wounded accidentally sitting there dying. So he feels obligated to save him, and he's like trying to figure out like, how do I save him? And he decides, well, God is only this character that is only a fantasy. This is just a fantasy of mine. So if I can convince him that he's just a fantasy, then maybe it would solve our problems. So then he starts to argue. He starts trying to convince God to admit that he's only a fantasy. And once God does, then he says, well, if you're just a fantasy, then you're light as a feather, and I'll just pick you up and carry you to safety. And he lifts up the giant, and he's light as a feather. And he gets to this house where he's going to heal him, one of his friend's house where he's going to heal him, and he can't fit through the door because he's a giant. And Jung is like, oh, but you're just a fantasy. So he just shrinks him down to the size of an egg and puts him in his pocket. So now Jung's walking around with God in his pocket, right? And he goes into the door, and this whole scene unfolds where he takes God out of his pocket, and he's like literally like an egg, like an unhatched egg. And he puts him down on this fancy rug, and he sits down and he's staring at the egg, and it says that he's incubating the egg with his consciousness, like he's trying to make it hatch, to bring God back from the egg. And then this whole chapter unfolds. It's called The Incantations. And Jung is like saying this spell to try to get the God to hatch from the egg. It is the trippiest shit you've ever heard in your whole life. And it's fantastic, man. And I'm reading it and I'm like, something about this is special, man.
Yeah.
I don't know what this is, little kid, but you special. What's that from?
I have no idea. That sounds pretty trippy though.
It was so trippy, man.
Trippy, bro.
And I'm not doing justice to it, but the whole thing is about this conflict that Jung has, where he wants to be a scientist because he wanted to be taken seriously as an academic, and he wanted psychology to be a science so that he could be respected and participate in this great scientific revolution that was happening all in every field at the time. And he wanted to study the mind and the psyche in a way that people would admit is scientific and valid. But at the same time, the deeper he got in it, the more mystical and weird and magical and religious it got. And he was like trying to reconcile his desire to be scientific and to be taken seriously and to offer the world something factual, But in order to learn anything new about it, he had to go into the illogical and the irrational.
Yeah.
It's just really interesting. And all the stories are like playing out this conflict in his own mind.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting, man.
Dude, I love the thing about shrinking him down and putting him in his pocket. I felt like that was something that could have happened in a fable or a fairy tale.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's right out of that kind of a thing.
Totally.
I was gonna say something about it. It's like slipping my mind. Yeah, I don't know. I've lost it. It's gone.
Well, if it comes back, let me know.
All right. Speaking of Carl Jung and people who like him, have you heard? Did you see Jordan Peterson's daughter released a video about like what's going on with him?
Yeah, I saw a little bit.
I didn't watch very much. I've watched like maybe 10 seconds of the video, but
I just read the tweet and it said something. First of all, Michaela's, his daughter, said she's not going to give any more updates until he's better and ready to make an update on his own. So she doesn't want to be responsible for that. And honestly, puts a lot of pressure on her because the public wants to know what's going on. It's like she said that. But the other thing she said is that, there was like things that she's been saying, that there's been like complications with his immune system and the mold exposure and stuff. She's been saying that.
Yeah.
But she said he's suffering from something, and I can't remember what the word is, but I looked it up. And apparently it is a like strange kind of like agitation that people experience who take psych drugs, whether it's like depressants or anxiety meds or something, and it can become really intense apparently. And I never heard of this. So I don't know. That's what she said.
Never heard of it either. I mean, I guess it doesn't really surprise me that there are side effects of those kind of drugs, but I don't know. I just feel like there's just always something now, like there's always some kind of health thing that is the reason why. I don't know. It's just weird, man.
So is the implication that he's staying out of the public eye for some other reason?
Oh, no, I don't. I mean, I think that he's crazy. I think that Jordan Peterson's crazy.
Let's talk about this because I don't agree. There's lots of stuff I don't know, but a lot of the hate that started circulating around Peterson before he disappeared out of the public eye it seemed like, and you tell me if I'm off the mark here, but it seemed to me like it had a lot to do with a handful of conversations that he had late in, like I said, before he disappeared, that had to do with his Christian, whether he's Christian or not. And he was having these kind of, people were saying strange, like, emphasis on language, where he's like, what do you mean by this? What do you mean by that? But they were like really fundamental questions, like, what do you mean by being? And what do you mean by good? And stuff like that. And people were like, this guy's like overanalyzing it to the degree that he's not even coherent anymore, which I don't agree with. And I'm curious, is that what you mean, or is there something else?
No, I feel like Jordan Peterson's legitimately crazy. Like, I feel like all of this medical stuff, I don't feel like it's real. Like, I feel like there's some kind of like psychosomatic thing going on.
Oh.
Like, yeah, I don't. A lot of the stuff that he said, like when he went on Joe Rogan and said that he didn't sleep for like 40 days or something like that. It's like, you fucking slept, dude. Like, nobody can stay awake for 40 days. But yeah, I don't. It really has nothing to do with that kind of stuff that you were talking about. It's just like, I feel like Jordan has kind of like lost his mind a little bit, like legitimately gone crazy.
Yeah. Well, I think it's super interesting to consider, because he's a psychologist.
Yeah.
And you would think anybody who would be able to like protect themselves from those sorts of possibilities is somebody who does it for a living, who helps people with their psychological problems. So to fall victim to that themselves is an interesting thing, hard to justify.
Well, maybe it does have something to do with like the drugs and stuff like that, like the benzo whatever shit that he was taking. That kind of stuff will have an effect on you, even if you are a psychologist. Like totally. That kind of stuff, that mind altering kind of thing might impair somebody even of like Jordan Peterson's faculties. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Totally.
So, but yeah, I feel like ever since that first time where he like disappeared and was apparently in like some kind of Russian treatment facility, I feel like he's been different ever since. And I feel like he's like up and down and crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like he has manic episodes.
Yeah. What's interesting, because one of the things that he said in interviews before, I don't know exactly when, he talks about like personality a lot, and he says like he understands the type of personality he has, and he is very like, this isn't the word he would use, but conflict avoidant. Like it causes him a lot of anxiety to have these confrontational conversations that he was being forced to have when he first got in the public light, like nonstop for a long time. And you could see it in some of those interviews where he loses his temper, and sometimes it was awesome to watch, and sometimes it was, it just seemed like, maybe it was a little much. But he admitted that he doesn't handle that well.
I don't really ever remember Jordan Peterson being too much, going too far.
The one that comes in my mind is one of the last ones he did, which was one of those 20-on-1. What was it called?
Oh yeah. I know what you're talking about.
And he was being pushed about not admitting that he's a Christian or believes that Jesus is God, or any of that
he
stuff.
lashed out a little too hard there.
Yeah, he lost his patience like immediately.
That well.
It was that dickhead little like.
I remember like kid. I have some like vague recollection of the interview, but I don't really remember that part that you're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, he was a college professor, so for his whole professional career, he dealt with young, arrogant kids. And here he is on this show with 20 arrogant kids, and they're coming at him hard. And he, I don't know. I expected him to handle it a little bit more gracefully. Like that one famous interview he had with that British lady on the BBC or whatever.
Kathy Newman.
Yeah, oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So what you're saying is, that's what she kept saying.
Yeah, she sure did. Again. She sure did.
That's classic, man. That's classic Jordan Peterson. That was when he was the man.
The other day, I went and visited Brian and Josh. I went to have an overnight in Columbus, and he's not in Columbus. He's in north of Columbus. But in any case, I've been doing that like quarterly lately. He got this is just people don't know this, but this is just another friend that we had that mostly I had, but Kyle knew him. This goes way back to childhood. A friend of ours. Anyway, he got in a terrible car accident. And he was all messed up, and so we went down and visited him. Why am I telling you this?
We were talking about Jordan Peterson.
Oh, I was listening to Jordan Peterson on the way home, and it was like, I just like searched way down, and I was listening to one of the old ones, like one of the old like lectures, basically, and it was fucking awesome. Jordan Peterson in his prime was a fucking force, man.
Yeah,
it was one of his episodes on Carl Jung, but he was talking. That was one of the many ones where he would talk about the Lion King and the archetypal meaning of the Lion King, and it just goes hard. Jordan is the man.
He definitely he was on top of the world there for a while. Now he's not anymore.
Well, I consider myself to be forever in debt to Jordan's ideas, because that guy helped me to understand. Like, I always felt like a really deep meaning associated with God. Like, it had a great appeal to me, to the point where I could never be an atheist, because there was just this intrinsic mystery and value to the mystery that was too great, and I just could never go there. And Jordan was the first person to like really help me see how these religious ideas are practical, how they play out in the world. And so it makes them real in a way that's defensible. And I had a really hard time with that, like believing in the divine and believing in God, and not really being able to justify it like scientifically, or justify it in a way that would like be convincing to a modern man. Yeah. And then Jordan comes in and he's like, he just provided this way of thinking about these religious ideas that are practical, that are real world things. And like, hear these religious stories that all these atheists say are like children's stories that are like nonsense, like the world getting flooded in Noah. And then here comes Jordan Peterson come in and he's like, yeah, well, maybe so. Maybe it's a stupid childish story. And it's memorable, like the way you remember stories you heard when you were a child, like Hansel and Gretel. You still remember that fucking story. Why? Because there's some meaning there that's so potent, even though you didn't understand it, you couldn't let it go. And when Grandpa sits down and tells you about God destroying the world with a flood, what he's really telling you is, and Jordan will go on to explain, there is a spirit that pulls you to what does he say? To batten down the hatches and prepare when you suspect that things are going bad. There's an intuition there. There's something that people feel. And if you write it off as unscientific and you don't take it seriously and the flood comes and you fucking die, it's your fault. And that there's a real thing here that's unexplainable. And he would just call it a spirit. And I'm like, fuck, man. Like, there is a spirit, there is. What is that thing? And we've been talking about spirit from time immemorial.
It's the tohu vabohu.
It's the tohu vabohu, man.
That word always cracks me up, man. I'm sorry. I don't know. It just popped into my head. The tohu vabohu.
Just preach, Kermit the Frog, preach. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I forget what I was gonna say. She's a pretty lady, though. I'll give her that. She is
a pretty lady. Yeah, totally.
Apparently, she got the business from Andrew Tate back in the day. You ever hear that rumor?
No.
Yeah, apparently she flew out to. This is when Jordan was in that hospital in Russia, or whatever the fuck he was in Russia. Apparently, she took a trip down to Romania and had the Andrew Tate experience. That's what they say.
That's sort of disappointing,
I like Andrew Tate way more than I like Michaela Peterson.
Yeah, but it just makes me feel like disappointed in her.
Yeah, like, why though?
Would you think that a daughter that was raised by Jordan Peterson should do such a thing?
I mean, she got pregnant. I mean, she's like, yeah, I don't know. I don't hold Michaela in that high a regard, She hasn't. If she had been some kind of like rock solid, like, oh yeah, I can see Jordan Peterson raised her. But she's not. She's like kind of a mess, if you like look at. I forget the details off the top of my head, but she doesn't. she's not like somebody that I would look at and be like, I have tons of respect for Michaela Peterson.
I don't follow her in any capacity, so I don't really know. It's just my instinct, most of my gut reaction.
Yeah, no, she's not. She kind of cray. She's a little.
Point is, I love Jordan. Jordan introduced me to Carl Jung, and I mean, not like the first time I ever heard of it, but like the first time that it was ever like made compelling enough for me to get into it.
Yeah,
and Carl Jung is like next level. I'm kind of topped out at Carl Jung. Like if it goes deeper than Carl Jung, I haven't found it yet, and I haven't studied Carl Jung well enough to like be prepared for that sub basement.
Yeah.
So like I think that's like one of the deepest people, one of the deepest thinkers that ever has existed.
Peterson brought a lot of important stuff to the table. That's for sure. That biblical, like seriousness, that relevancy that you were talking about.
Yeah.
Jung, the tohu vabohu.
Dude, all that is like, even when he talked about the story of what is it? It was one of those Disney movies. I was a folktale, but it turned into a Disney movie. Sleeping Beauty, maybe? Was it that one he was talking about? He was talking about how women make men self-conscious, and like I never really thought about it. And when I heard him say it, I'm like, it's so true, man. It's like we complain that women are like nagging, like men complain. Like this is like a common refrain that women, especially like you've been married for a long time, your wife's nagging you about this and that. But it's like when you first start taking like serious romantic relationships, and you get to the point where you have to be good enough, you're like competing with other men, and you have to be good enough to like win over a woman or whatever,
to woo her,
or to it's like to meet her expectations.
Hypergamy.
Yeah.
You know what that is?
Just being with one woman?
No, that's monogamy. Hypergamy is the it's like the intrinsic. What is the word? It's like the instinct of women to go for the best possible man that they can get. Hypergamy.
Is it strictly women, or is it?
I think there may be some kind of version of it for men, but I think it has a different word. Hypergamy, I think, is specifically women.
Interesting. Yeah.
And mostly with men, it's not necessarily about like status.
Right.
It's about looks for the most part. Fecundity, as one might say, fertility.
Yeah, genes and health, baby.
Yeah. Big titties.
Big old titties. But women do make men aware of their shortcomings, lack, and so we start like working on ourselves in a way that we never would have before. And then he ties something like that to these like folk tales, and you're like, oh my God, like I just thought that was a fun story, but it's been told for 1,000 years, because it's like telling you this is what your future has in store. This is a universal pattern, and you're going to fall into it because you must, because that's what it means to be a human. And if you know the stories, you'll be better prepared for when this happens to you. And it's never conscious. It's like this is something that like children absorb subconsciously, and it helps us, years later when we find ourselves in a situation that's playing out a fucking fairy tale.
Wish I could do a better Jordan Peterson impression. But yeah,
I wish you'd give it a try.
No, I'm not. I don't feel like embarrassing myself. I just want to have more reasons to say tohu vabohu.
So I think Peterson is going to probably stay out of the public eye to the degree that he was like when he was on the Daily Wire, probably permanently at this point. I expect we may see him like periodically, like he may get to a point where he wants to
hop on Rogan every now and
that
then.
kind of thing, do an interview here and there,
writes a book,
maybe, or
some shows
maybe,
every now and then.
maybe he'll do like, I don't think he'll
not
do
the big tours like he used to.
That's what I expect. But he's like, how old is Jordan, man? He's like in his 60s, right?
Yeah, he's getting up there for sure.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about the fact that my dad is 70. It's fucking crazy, man.
Crazy.
Time flies.
Yeah.
It just keeps chugging along until you're dead.
It does. Yeah.
I hate to think of it that way.
Yeah.
But it's the truth.
Sometimes I think like You know, because I'm 40 now.
40.
And like, that's old. And I understand, like when I was 10 years old, if I saw a 40-year-old man, I'd be like, that's an old man. That's an old guy. I don't feel super old, but like the idea that the next decade of my life is going to result in me being 50, it really starts to change it's like in only 10 years, I'm going to be 50.
Fucking 50.
It makes me feel like I know that I'm not like a young man anymore, but it's like this prime manhood period where you might still call me youthful in the sense that I'm like vibrant and capable and all that.
It's withering away.
I am in the final stretch of that.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to enter some new period of my life where I'm like less capable and less of a man and like starting to fade away in favor of the next generation. And I don't like that at all, dude.
Yeah. It's time to buy guns, dude. We just got to start buying guns and, you know.
It's time to buy guns. Golly.
We got to start doing all the old man things, you know.
I was thinking about that too. Yeah. Do some more fishing.
Yeah. That, you know.
I'm going to get up early. I'm start getting up at like 5 a.m.
I already do that.
Mow the grass.
Mow the grass at 5 a.m.
Yeah, I'll be drunk before noon.
Yeah. I feel like I'm never gonna be able to retire, so I'm gonna like die. I'm gonna have like a stroke as the greeter at Walmart, you know?
Yeah.
I'm gonna die in a Walmart probably.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Really is terrible.
Yeah.
But what are you gonna do? I don't know. Who knows? Maybe Social Security will keep chugging along.
Yeah, I don't know, man. You might find yourself at a period where you're eligible to take Social Security, and then maybe like you can work some part-time job that you kind of like.
Yeah.
You know, that'd be all right. That's because a lot of people they retire and they don't do shit, and a lot of those people just die, man. Like you got to keep doing something.
True.
You know, if you could have like a part-time job that you liked, what would it be? You like enjoyed
writing short stories about the Tohu Valbohu, probably. I think that's what I would do if I had my druthers. No, I don't know, man.
If I had
it'd be like, you know, at work I was doing like welding and stuff like that. You know, I enjoyed that. I'm not doing it anymore, but because I moved on to something that paid more, but you know, doing something like that or carpentry or something like that, but you know.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
I was telling a guy the other day that you do fall protection, but that I'm never really 100% sure what that means.
Yeah.
And this is my neighbor, and he was like, "That's what we do." His dad owns a business, and they make stuff. And I'm like, "Well,
what if I work for him?"
You don't, but I was like, what is it?" And he was telling me like, "Listen, this was at a bar. This was a conversation at a bar, so
yeah,
I don't know how well I remember this, but he was talking about like it sounded like he was talking about." Stuff they use to unload trains, and it prevents you from falling into the top of the train car. I don't know, something like that.
Sure, yeah.
So it sounds like they do that. They make something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that like the same kind of stuff you do?
Yep. Pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, when you say fall protection, man, I just think of like what are those things called? Carabiners or like
we use those.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh okay. Nailed it.
Pretty funny.
Okay, what do you got, man? Anything before we start getting into this list? Because I got quite the list now.
No, not really.
All right, let's start with two related political headlines that I saw over the last few weeks, both having to do with California.
California.
First one I saw. This one was March 25th. It was one of the headlines in the news. Said that they have canceled the gubernatorial debate in California. Any idea why they would do such a thing?
COVID.
No, but that would, yeah, but that's a good guess, but no.
Fascism.
In a way.
Who's even in it? I know that Swalwell was running, but he dropped out because he's a raper. And who else is even running? Oh, you're asking.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to know who they are, but let's see. We have Katie Porter, Xavier Becerra, former Attorney
Betty
General
Yee.
Betty
Yee
Yee,
yee.
former controller. There's a bunch of people. Billionaire activist Tom Steyer, Antonio Villagrosa, former mayor of Los Angeles. There's like literally and then yes, Swalwell dropped out. There's literally a ton. So they canceled
Go down to the Republicans.
Republicans.
Yeah.
Chad Bianco and Steve Hilton.
Who?
Steve,
I'm just joking.
conservative commentator. Okay. Point is, they canceled the gubernatorial debate because all of the candidates were white.
Oh, nice.
Because there were no candidates of color. They decided, what? We're not even going to have it.
Sweet.
What in the fuck, man?
I like that. I like that. I think that they should do more of that. Save us from having to listen to that stupid shit anyways. But yeah, that's pretty funny. I should have guessed that. I can't believe I didn't guess that. They're all whiteys, huh?
What in the world, man?
I mean, one of those names you read was not a white guy named Viorgalosa or whatever.
Bianca and Villagrosa, probably Italian, maybe, right?
I would have guessed
Antonio. I don't know.
I would have guessed Spaniard or Latino of some sort.
Either way, the look wasn't great. They're like, we can't put this on television.
Yeah.
Look at all these pasty motherfuckers.
We need a black guy or a black woman or a Haitian or something.
Something.
We got to liven up this group of lily white.
So that's one. And then California wasn't going to disappoint. So a little bit later, they, oh my God, dude, you probably saw this. They introduced legislation in California. It's called the Nick Shirley Act or the anti-Nick Shirley Act.
Yeah, where you're not allowed to do journalism.
You're not allowed to do journalism about government fraud.
Yeah.
They want to make it illegal in California. They want to make it illegal in California for a freaking journalist to research and uncover fraud that's happening in the government.
It's a power move, man.
What in the absolute hell, dude? It's like we can't be having what happened in Minnesota happen in California. That's where we're finding all the daycare fraud, the Medicare fraud and all that. No.
Yeah, did it pass?
I don't think so. It's still in the works. But
yeah.
The balls, like the optics of such a move. It's like, look, they've already said it's suspected that in a state the size of California, with the amount of spending involved with their government programs, that there's got to be a tremendous amount of fraud going on, far, far more than what they found in Minnesota, which was absolutely ridiculous. And instead of confronting that and protecting the citizens or ruling out, like researching and ruling out that this is happening, they want to make it illegal for people to point it out and talk about it publicly.
Do you think that people notice or care?
I think that Democrats don't care. I think 99% of the fucking liberals there see that article and they justify it to themselves somehow.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a meaningful fraction of liberals, of lefties, of anybody that will vote Democrat most of the time that will look at a story like that and say, there really is a problem here, and I guess we're going to have to reluctantly side with the Democrats to make sure this is resolved. I don't think there's a meaningful amount of people on the left that would do that. I don't think that move would happen. Now, if it were the other way around, if it were the people on the left discovering that there was something going on with some shady thing going on with Republicans is stealing money or whatever.
Or Trump was passing a law that says you couldn't do journalism about state corruption.
Then they would demand that there would be impeachment letters being filed. Yeah, the whole thing. I think it's absolutely disgusting, man.
Yeah, it's pretty pathetic. But I didn't necessarily mean Democrats. I don't know, man. I feel like a lot of people don't pay attention and sure. I don't know. I feel like, I guess I think that if a lot of people knew that they were doing that kind of stuff, maybe they would be upset about it. But I just feel like people don't People don't know.
Yeah, I think they don't know, or they refuse to believe. You know, I think it's more likely than not that there's plenty of like good-hearted Democrats in California that if it was, like I said, if it was happening on the other side, or if there was irrefutable evidence even that it was happening on their side, that people agreed with, there was some kind of sufficient level of consensus, that those good people would say, you know, this is ridiculous. We're wasting billions of dollars on fraud. This can't happen. But I think they won't admit it. They won't admit it. The story like that comes out and they say, you know, that's propaganda. That's not happening. You know, that's just, it's gotten that bad.
Yeah. I remember hearing for a few months, maybe even like a year for a while there, that the Democrats were polling like the lowest they'd ever polled.
In California?
No, like in general.
Oh.
Yeah, like they're just not doing well. And I feel like Trump is losing popularity right now too. So I just feel like nobody's popular, you know, like neither side has like a hold, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, there's been a handful of special elections throughout the country where I've seen, you know, just like the headlines and stuff, where they're saying that Democrats are winning these special elections, and that this is like a foreshadowing of what we're going to be facing in 2028. You know, that we're going to have a lot of Democrats winning seats in Congress and that kind of thing. I hope that's not the case.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I am not particularly thrilled with a lot of the stuff that's going on, but
do you think, I mean, obviously this stuff with Iran seems to be, there's been other moments with Trump, like there was some frustration that we talked about more than once about like not seeing anybody being punished, like not only for the fraud stuff, for the Epstein stuff. It's like all these big stories are happening, but nobody seems to be being punished for it, and that's disappointing. None of the like lawfare that was going on that we thought people were going to have to own up to and be, you know, something would happen to them about it. Like none of that's happened. So there was some frustration that crept up with Trump relatively early on, where it seemed like there were some promises that weren't being fulfilled there. And maybe I'm missing some others, but when it got to with Epstein, there was like some back and forth, especially with there was mixed messaging going on about whether there was any files at all, and you know whether they released everything already and stuff. But then with Iran, I don't exactly know what happened, but I think there was moments where the media was making it out like we were losing.
Yeah,
and I don't know if that was ever actually true.
What the fuck does losing mean? You know, like how do we lose? We're not over there, you know, like the only way that it makes sense that we could lose in that situation is if we sent a bunch of jets over to like bomb and they shot down all of our jets. And I don't think that's happened, you know? So to me, it seems like they're trying to say, oh, our strikes have not been as effective as we imagined they would be, but we've killed like the top 25 people in control in the country. So I feel like they're doing pretty good.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just don't really understand why we needed to do it, you know? But I don't like love Iran. I don't really care, you know?
Yeah.
If you, this has been my position since day one, if you can make a case for me as to why it's good for America, then I'm all for it. Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's invade Iran. Fine with me. Now, Trump has not made explicit why it's a good thing. It's just always been about, oh, we don't want them to have nukes. I really don't fucking care. You know, like they've been saying that they've been trying to get nukes for a long time and they keep never having nukes.
Yeah.
You know, so I just am not that worried about it. But I think that there is, like, it's the same thing when we took over Venezuela. Do you remember they said that we were going to be like running Venezuela?
Yeah.
And, you know, and it's like, if that's true, the way that it sounds, then yeah, I'm all for it. Let's do that. That sounds great. But that doesn't seem to be how it is. And I feel like it's the same thing in Iran. Although I have been seeing a lot of people say things like having the Strait of Hormuz shut is like crippling everybody who's against us in the world right now. And it's like benefiting us because we have oil, you know, we sell oil.
Yeah.
But like it's really fucking over China, Russia, obviously Iran. So That's interesting.
It is. I think the most interesting thing that came out of this whole mess, and I agree with you, by the way, I don't think that a reason for the United States to be doing what we're doing in Iran was articulated well enough for even his supporters to agree with. But I think the most interesting thing is the way that these European countries have responded to like wanting to stay out of it and not supporting the United States by letting us use their Air Force bases and stuff like that. Because this is all on the tail of when Trump first got reelected, talking about how, and maybe this goes back to this first administration, but talking about how the countries in the UN weren't paying their fair share, and he was trying to put pressure on them, especially places like Spain.
Yeah.
And now the Spanish aren't letting us use their air bases. So now we have like another huge reason to dismiss any value in NATO. And that makes me like that could potentially be a like world changing
100%,
power dynamic shift.
I agree. So if that happens, that would be cool. But
in some ways it would be cool. But it also weaken. I mean, it seems like in a way it weakens the West against large powers like China. Like if Europe is not united, if they don't have a united front, if they're fractured, then China can kind of do whatever it wants. It can buy off and work it and weasel its way in, and
I guess I don't know. Maybe that is true. I don't know.
I don't know either. It just seems like like a logical thing to suppose, but I don't know. I don't know what it means for Europe if the UN falls apart. If the United States doesn't continue to fund it, and that means that it can't exist, or that it becomes like it exists, but it doesn't have any power really. Like, what does that mean for Europe? I don't know.
Well, the power of the UN or NATO, whichever one we're talking about, is not going to go away unless America goes away. I mean, because America is the power behind both of those things, really.
Yeah.
I honestly, I kind of see the rest of the world as like hangers on, who act like they're better than us, but like expect us to pay all their bills for them and stuff like that. You know?
Yeah.
I just kind of don't give a fuck about the rest of the world.
What happens if we have, I don't know what like the details are, but we have all these soldiers in like Germany and places like in Europe, because after the Second World War, but we have like a lot like bases and lots of people, soldiers and equipment and all that. If we leave, and they always hear people say that the United States military is like, their presence in Europe is like basically protecting. We're like doing some kind of police action, and we're like forced to dissuade attack, like because the United States is there.
Yeah,
we don't have to have our own defenses. And then we leave, let's just say hypothetically, like what happens? Does Russia start taking over parts of Western Europe? I don't know. Like I don't know what happens if we don't have this mutual war pact with all of the rest of Europe.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, they could field armies. Europe could field armies if they wanted to. They might lack in, what's the word I'm looking for? Experience. They have. I don't think they've been out there doing it too much, but. Yeah, I don't know, man. That'd be interesting.
What if it becomes a boon for Europe? What if like the United States leaves and all these European countries decide, oh shit, we have to be able to defend ourselves now, and like their military industry starts cranking up into high gear, and like their GDP starts going up, and like new jobs are getting created. Like what if it's like all Europe needed was to militarize?
I don't think that that's unlikely, really. It's kind of like I think about wild animals and like feeding wild animals, it's like they just become stunted, whereas if they have to fend for themselves, they might do better, so it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, we shall see.
I wish that we would, because I really do get sick of just the rest of the world, man. To be honest with you, I fucking hate them so much.
Yeah.
Just like the smug superiority complex that they have. I just fucking hate the world.
Yeah.
I'm all about America, man. I'm a patriot, baby. America, fuck yeah.
I see it as like a defense mechanism. It's like a face saving thing. Like you know, if you're confronted by a culture that's superior to yours or an economy that's superior to yours, you know, it's like a sort of elitism is like a defense mechanism. It's like, you know, yeah, you may be better than us, but we're better than you. Like, you know, we're the blue bloods or something like that. It's like it's a weird thing.
Yeah.
All right, what else? Those are my Californian ones. Oh, I was watching this documentary with my daughter about soap.
Oh yeah.
It's a documentary about soap. It was interesting, man. And my oldest daughter likes to watch that nerd shit with me, which I don't know how long that's going to last, but I'm enjoying it while it lasts. But I bring it up because I learned something, and I don't know if this is entirely true, so we may have to look this up. One of the things they said in the documentary was the adage, "Cleanliness is next to godliness." You know the adage?
Yeah.
What do you associate that saying with? You associate with like church, or is it? You think it's just like a saying?
Yeah. I don't know. I never really thought of it much as like an actual religious thing, but just some kind of colloquial saying.
Yeah.
Something that people say.
Yeah. Apparently, that adage was a marketing campaign for soap in the 1830s.
Really? All right.
Cleanliness is next to godliness. Can you imagine, like the society in the like the early 1800s? They would have been very religious, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, well, you ain't godly unless you clean, and we're selling soap. That's what the whole thing was.
It's pretty interesting.
Isn't it? A freaking marketing campaign.
What was soap made of back then?
Dude, it was interesting. It said it was made with animal fat and lye, I think.
All right.
And then because you need the fat, right? And they said there's a different word for it. They don't call it soap, but like in the Mediterranean, like in ancient times, the Greeks would use olive oil. What I didn't realize is that they would mix olive oil and lye the same way that Europe would mix fat and lye. So they were making soap. It was just a different kind of soap than what we would make. And I also learned that bar soap didn't exist for a long, long time. Because if you mix fat and lye together, what you end up with is like a gelatinous, like it's not, I mean, you can wash with it, but it's just like, it's not a bar of soap.
Yeah.
Turns out that got invented, I think, by the Indians or the Arabs, because they had to figure out a way to ship it and sell it. And it's harder to sell goo than it is to sell. Once they found a way to turn it into bricks, they were like, oh, genius. And it was genius because we still make soap that way. But yeah, they said that soap, it's like this magical thing, man. It's not, it's like, because imagine like animal fat cleaning you. Like imagine without the lye, rubbing animal fat on your skin, like in the shower. It doesn't seem like it would be something that would clean you. And it obviously it doesn't, but mixing it with lye, it makes this chemical reaction. And the thing about it though, is that whatever that chemical reaction is, and I'm not a fucking scientist, I'm just secondhand telling you this after I watched a documentary a couple of weeks ago, and I only vaguely remember at this point. But what it does is it attaches itself to all the oils and dirt and stuff on your skin, so that when you rinse yourself off, it literally pulls all that shit off of you. Apparently, like that's the magic of it. Apparently, that doesn't happen when you use like hand sanitizer. Doesn't have that thing that attaches to the fat and oils and pulls it off your skin. It doesn't have that. It's just alcohol, right? So they were saying like during COVID, you take hand sanitizer on your hands, and if you have like bacteria or viruses on your hands, that's probably going to kill all that stuff. But then but just like imagine you can see at that microscopic level, you have a bunch of dead bacteria and pieces of viral bodies on your hands. They're dead, but they're just on there. But if you use soap, they rinse off. So imagine that you're like a doctor and you're doing surgery, and you use hand sanitizer. And you go and obviously you have gloves on it now, but just imagine like a medieval doctor. You're cutting somebody open, and you've got like pieces of bacteria and viral bodies on your hands, and that DNA is getting right in there, even though it's dead. It's contaminated. It's still contaminating you. And so like soap has an advantage over stuff like that like I guess doesn't really get talked about. I never knew that. I kind of always got the impression that like hand sanitizer was sort of being touted as like better than soap, like it's alcohol, like this is really going to kill all the stuff on you. But they're making this argument that no, like soap is better and it's been around for a long time and it's going to continue to be better, and this is why. And I didn't know any of that shit. I was fascinated.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. The more you know.
The more you know.
Now, if you're ever watching Jeopardy and a soap question comes up, you're gonna be good. Good to go.
You mentioned the thing about Venezuela, and I told you this the other day, but I wanted to talk to you about this on the podcast. There was an article in the headlines the other week about, I think it was a tweet or a picture or something that Trump put up, and it was a flag with 56 stars on it.
Yeah.
It's like no commentary. It's just like a teaser, It's like the future of America, 56 stars. And so the question is, well, what are those 6 states going to be?
Yeah.
What's the vision? What is he doing?
It's a good question. Venezuela could be one. They're going after Cuba.
They seem to be going after Cuba. That seems like a good fit. It's 90 miles away from Florida.
Greenland,
yeah.
Canada.
All of Canada?
All of Canada.
Oh yeah, shit, yeah.
How many is that? That's 4.
Can you imagine all of Canada just being one state?
That'd be awesome. Canada,
Venezuela, Alberta,
Mexico,
Cuba.
We'll take Mexico.
We'll take it. We'll take a little bit.
Take Mexico, Panama,
yeah. I don't know what it means, but it's just evocative, or provocative. What's the word?
It'd be awesome if we got 6 more states.
I told you, man, when we talked about that idea with Greenland, a time or two before, there is something like romantic about the idea of expansion. Like my mind was kind of closed to the idea. I thought the United States was like from sea to shining sea, right? It's like what else more do we have a right to include in the great United States? But shit, Alaska's way up there. Might as well close the gap. Yeah, close the gap.
Yeah, I like it.
I like Letterkenny. I like I went to Niagara. That was beautiful.
Avril Lavigne,
hockey,
Poutine. What were we, how do we start talking about? Oh, the 56 states.
Jordan Peterson, for Christ's sake.
Jordan freaking Peterson.
Canadian.
Jordan freaking Peterson.
When I was over at Brian's, I stayed over last night. The night before. We were just hanging out about playing Super Nintendo. Literally, we were playing a game that we played when we were 10 years old. And we played for like 4 hours. We played Super Nintendo. We had a bunch of choices that were all great. We ended up playing the Secret of Mana. Do you remember the Secret of Mana?
Vaguely, yeah.
1993. I think it was the same company that made all those RPGs back in the day. But anyway, it turned out that Josh knew about one of those Lonely Island skits from SNL back in the early days, but he didn't realize they kept doing it. So we just took him to school.
Down that rabbit hole.
We took him to school, man. We were just watching
Dick in a Box,
all the Lonely Island videos and the SNL skits with Justin Timberlake and all that stuff. It was fantastic.
That's pretty entertaining.
Yeah.
I hipped you to the news bloopers the other day.
Oh, the news bloopers. Oh,
I don't know why. I just thought it was so funny that was so entertaining to you. Not the videos, because the videos are fucking funny.
Yeah.
But just the fact that I watched that, or that like the idea of searching for news bloopers was so funny to you. That cracked me up.
It never would have occurred to me.
Yeah. I don't know how they popped up on my radar.
It is funny.
But yeah.
It's something like when we were watching those SNL skits, it's like the ones that are the funniest are the ones where the actors cannot hold in their laughter. And I think there's something like related there to the news bloopers.
Sure. Yeah, because the funniest ones are when they like accidentally trip and say something, and then they can't stop laughing about it. That's always the funniest.
Yeah.
Like the one guy was talking about cinnamon toast crunch bacon, flavored bacon, and he said cinnamon toast cunt, and like just immediately like starts, you know, trying to hold back laughter is so funny, you know.
Yeah.
But
listen, I don't remember if this memory was you or not, but let me ask you if it is. Do you remember when I was like an early teenager, I had a switchblade?
yeah, vaguely.
I had a switchblade, and I was like, I was I don't know if it was you or if maybe it was Brian, one of my friends. And I was in my room and I was playing with it, the switchblade, opening it up, closing it, opening it up, closing it, and my mom walks in. And I just threw it behind me, just out of panic.
Yeah.
And then my eyes were like as big as saucers. I'm staring at my mom, and she knows I'm guilty, but she can't figure out why. And I'm just like, no, nothing's wrong. Yeah. I don't know if you were present with that.
I don't remember that.
Just popped in my head.
Sounds pretty funny though.
Just sticking out of the wall behind me or something.
Speaking of video games, I've been seeing stuff for, you know, Grand Theft Auto 6 supposed to be coming out in November.
Ooh.
And I feel like one of the ultimate goals of video games is for them to be as immersive as possible. So they try to make these games like real, you know what I'm saying? And it's just, I just can't help but wonder what the future of gaming is going to be, man. Like, is it going to be like some Matrix kind of shit where you like jack in and you're like living in the game?
Yeah, I think that's a pretty reasonable, like long-term goal, is to be able to be present in the avatar.
Yeah.
Right. Because, you know, we play around with that. We have first person, we have third person, you know, but imagine a first person game where you're walking around, you feel yourself as though you're behind the eyes of the avatar, you know?
I feel like that's like the logical conclusion of gaming, of where it's going.
Yeah. We've seen some of that stuff. Wasn't it Joe Rogan that talked about that multi-directional treadmill thing?
Yeah.
Just walk any direction on it so you feel like you're moving through the game.
Yeah.
You know?
There's still some kind of disconnect there though, you know, because you know you're on a treadmill, you know? Like I think eventually we're gonna get to a point where it is like the Matrix, like you lay down in a bed and they stick something into the back of your skull. Maybe not actually that, you know what I'm saying? But like I do feel like it will be something that's like all encompassing, you know, that like you are in it.
Totally. Don't they have I think they're not VR, they're like augmented reality, where it's like you go to a warehouse sized studio and you put on the headset and you go through, it's almost like an obstacle course.
Shit.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
I mean, those are baby steps towards that.
Yeah. I feel like this new GTA is going to be like kind of like steps towards it. And what I mean by that is obviously you're not actually going to be like living in the world, but I feel like they're doing so much work to make the world feel real that I feel like it's going to be like leaps and bounds ahead of anything that came before it. Like it's going to feel like a real world.
Still going to be the third person, the same view, and
well, you can do first person too.
Oh, you can switch back and forth.
Yeah, I always do third. I don't really like first person.
So you excited about this?
I'm super excited about it. Yeah. I wish I didn't have to wait till November.
A game like Red Dead in like true virtual reality would be so
that would
fun.
Be awesome. You remember the HBO show Westworld?
Hell yeah,
that would be sweet.
It would be sweet.
Fucking robot action, hot robot action.
Yeah.
You know, you could go there. You could kill a bunch of robots, but you could also.
Yeah, I know.
You could do some other things with those robots too.
That's also a weird future to look forward to because you know the video game stuff converges with the porn stuff, and you know, like what's porn going to be like? That's a weird thing, man, because if it gets good enough and all the best resources go into that first, like as far as technological, that's where the investments are made in the beginning. And it's going to get really good. And boy, man, if we don't figure out how to make babies in like laboratories, we might be in trouble.
That sounds very Brave New World, you know?
It does.
Everyone's just fucking robots. We're making babies in laboratories. There's I don't know. I can't even remember any of the other plot lines from Brave New World. It's been so long.
Feelies and the Soma.
They go to the reservation.
The reservation, yeah. Here's one. You know that show? I can't remember what it's called now, but Matt Walsh is doing that history show on Daily Wire.
How It Really Went Down is what it's called.
So there was one on slavery.
Yeah.
And then the one most recently that I saw that he did was on the Native Americans.
Yeah.
So here's what and it's fascinating because he's basically showing you that there's a whole other side of history that you were intentionally not taught. Like it was left out. It was not taught to you so that your view of history has a certain shape. It's not a full picture. It doesn't allow you to make a judgment. It's telling you a narrative about history, and that there's a whole other side of it. And it helps you to realize how much indoctrination really does go into school. It's like what you learn in history, it shapes the way you think about your country, your place in the world. You know, the moral rightness of your existence, of westward expansion, of anything. I'm just talking from the frame of American history, but anyway, he's talking about the Trail of Tears and what happened with the Cherokee. And I don't really know like the details of what happened there. What little bit that I kind of gleaned from just what I've heard in passing and stuff is that
white people were real mean.
White people were real mean. We came in and said, hey, there's a lot more of us than there used to be. So we're going to have to start moving out west. And it's disappointing that you're here because you have to leave, and we're going to send you to some other part of the country that's probably a little bit more hostile, and it'll be foreign to you, but you'll figure it out. We're just gonna go ahead and clear off your teepees and wigwams. We're going to make a couple of Starbucks here, and this is going to be our place now. Thank you very much.
Gentrification,
all of that, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw also there was one of those debates recently. That black girl, I think her name is Nala. She's like a young debater, and she's crossing paths with Andrew Wilson and a bunch of those other people. I think it was her. And somebody asked her about the Trail of Tears, and she said something about how terrible it was and how thousands of Native Americans died. And I can't remember who it was. Might have been Andrew Wilson on the other side. But somebody said, like, are you sure? Like, how many people died in the Trail of Tears? And they looked it up, and well, in fact, let's ask for. I think it was just like 400 or something like that. But how many natives died in the Trail of Tears? I'm not saying it wasn't bad.
I know.
So 4,000 Cherokee died. It says from 1838 to 1839.
Yeah, you can't trust this AI though.
Yeah, totally. So somewhere around 4,000 is what it says. But here's the thing.
No 6 million. I'll tell you that much.
Here's the thing I learned from Mr. Matt Walsh. We didn't come in and through the barrel of a gun say, hey, this is our land now, you have to go, and we're going to send you to Oklahoma where it sucks. It didn't happen that way. The United States government purchased the land from the natives. Now, I don't know to what degree they had a choice, so I'm just going to say, that's probably a fair critique. But they approached the tribal leadership and they purchased the land from them. Not only did they pay them for the land, they then gave them the reservation in Oklahoma. So it's like, we're going to pay you for your land and give you a free piece of land to move to. When you look at it from that perspective, it looks far less sinister than what we were taught. And then the detail that really put it over the top for me was this. I wrote it down so I'll get this statistics correct. They paid the Cherokee Nation 76 cents an acre for the land that they purchased. And they wanted to give us some comparison so you have some idea of whether that was like pennies on the dollar, like what was the situation. There was Alaska that we bought from the Russians, and then there was a Louisiana purchase that we bought from the French. So those were like comparable time periods. It was 2 cents an acre we paid the Russians for Alaska, 3 cents an acre we paid the French for Louisiana. and 76 cents an acre we paid the Cherokee for their homeland. Okay, so we paid the Cherokee an enormous sum of money. So basically we're saying, like, yes, we need this land. You don't really have a choice in the matter, but in order to like pave this over with you and make it as fair as possible, we're going to make you wealthy. We're going to give you a tremendous amount of money for your land. And on top of that, we're going to give you a free piece of land that you can move to start over on.
It sucks, but
it sucks.
You'll figure it out.
Now, the difference between that story and the one that you hear growing up is so fucking vastly different that it makes me, I mean, there's no other way of looking at it than we're being indoctrinated to believe that white people bad.
Yeah,
you
100%. I agree with you. I don't understand how you can come up with any other conclusion other than that. Why? What other reason would there possibly be to teach it the way that they've been teaching it? Like what else could it be? Why else would they do that?
And what's the purpose of doing that? What is the purpose of getting white people to, or like training us to think of ourselves as bad? What is the end goal? What is the purpose of that?
Why do you think it's so effective?
Great question. So it almost seems like we're uniquely susceptible to it. Like it's our freaking Achilles heel. It's our kryptonite or something.
Yeah.
And I know people talk about like this idea of like white guilt or whatever. Like we have this inheritance that we feel guilty about, but like that's a weird thing to me because as I've said many times on this podcast, my family never owned slaves. My family came here during the Civil War and fought with the Union Army to end it. We weren't here before. I never owned a single. The blood is not on my hands in the slightest. So why do I have to feel guilty about it? You know.
Mm-hmm.
And this whole thing about white privilege is tied to that. It's like this is a way for us to continue to foster this white guilt. You know, it's like, oh, you've forgotten you're supposed to be guilty about it. What about your privilege? You know, now we're gonna rub it in.
I feel like it's becoming less powerful, but I don't know if it's happening quickly enough.
Yeah,
I worry about it, but I do. It's definitely starting to wear off a little bit, but yeah, I don't know if it is happening fast enough. Hopefully it is.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that I have seen online, just talking heads of various kinds, that talk a lot more intelligently about it now than I ever heard before. Like just pointing out the hypocrisy of it all. Like even like this Matt Walsh show is an example of that.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, that's a good sign, I suppose. We'll see.
Yeah.
This phenomenon of black fatigue is another example of the tides starting to turn. Like
I feel like people on the internet getting popular, like Nick Fuentes for one.
Yeah, totally.
That guy Paul Miller, Chud the Builder. Have you seen any of that guy's clips?
No.
This guy's he's got like long hair and like a dandy mustache.
Oh,
and he goes out in public and he'll find black people who are doing something that's obnoxious or rude or whatever. And he's always like holding his phone up in selfie mode, like recording himself and them in the background. And he's always like, they're chimping out.
Yeah, I've seen that guy. Yeah,
okay. They're chimping out. Yeah, I like Chud.
It takes some serious balls to do that in public.
Yeah. Like a lot of these people, like going online and streaming and saying stuff like that takes balls too. I really do believe that.
Yeah.
But yeah, doing it in public and like challenging them, and it's pretty entertaining.
Yeah. Well, if I have to ask myself, man, like trying just taking like any racial component out of it, like if there's any situation at all, whether it's racially oriented or not, any situation at all where people are refusing to obey social norms and like civilized, like the requirements of civilized culture, like the idea of reciprocity and do unto others and all the stuff that's like foundational. If you reject that and you do it publicly, you should be shamed for it. You should be shamed for it. And I don't think it's fair to get out of it on the basis of some, social justice technicality, like because of my immutable characteristics, I'm immune to this. No, I think that if you're being loud at the movie theater, if you're causing a scene in the fast food restaurant, if you're
stealing stuff out of people's diaper bags at the park,
you should be shamed for that. And I don't care what color you are. I don't care what the circumstances are. I think, in fact, that public shaming is far more effective than like legal action. It's far more effective than like sending someone to jail. Ostracize somebody publicly. And see, this is why I think like assimilation is so important. Because if you allow a culture to be so separated from like its cohorts, it's like a culture within a culture. Being able to ostracize them isn't as effective. It's like you can come into my community and like steal from the CVS.
Yeah.
And then you can retreat to your community and you don't have to suffer any consequences. But if we're all one community, that shit doesn't fly.
I was thinking that because I feel like there's a lot of black people in the world who could do something that was like antisocial. And if a white person tried to shame them for it, the black people would not care at all. Like,
True.
They would not care at all. They would think it's funny.
Yep, they would. Absolutely.
So yeah, that too, like it is when you have two cultures, it's not really that effective at all. And that we really do have two completely separate cultures. Now, a lot of white people do like to like adopt black culture, and I fucking hate it so much. It just drives me nuts. I know I come off like an old man, but I don't care. I cannot fucking stand when white people like listen to nothing but rap, and when they talk like urban, it just drives me fucking crazy, man.
Well, I think that people don't like inauthenticity in general.
Yeah.
Like it's perfectly fine to say that somebody who's inauthentic comes across in a poor light. And it doesn't matter what the sense is in which they're being inauthentic. But to say that, as a white person, I'm going to adopt like a fully, black cultural paradigm. I'm going to dress that way and talk that way and act that way. And, all my friends are going to be, of that ilk. And I'm going to pretend. It's like you're LARPing, you're pretending. And we all understand that is inauthentic. We all understand it. And the people on the left, they don't shy away from that. They're the first ones to talk about cultural appropriation. Remember, they hate it too. So being inauthentic is something that I don't think is I think we can feel free to criticize that because it's hard to object to that. That is one example of somebody being inauthentic. Now I don't know, man, like, is there like a pass for somebody? Like, just imagine you're a little white kid and you get adopted.
Yeah.
And you're living in a group home in Compton and everyone you've ever known is black and you grow up that way. Is it okay for you to,
I would say it makes more sense.
It wouldn't be inauthentic in that case. Yeah. You know what I mean?
It definitely makes a lot more sense than for somebody from, like my city.
Yeah.
It's like, why are you talking like that, dude? And I'll say the same thing for like, there are people who were born and grew up in the city that I live in or in this city. And, they talk like, it's like, what? Why do you talk like that? You're not from Texas. You're not from fucking Georgia.
Totally.
You grew up here. Why do you talk like that? It's like, it's cool. I like trucks. I wish I could afford to buy like a big ass Silverado. I like trucks, but you don't have to start talking like some fucking cowboy because you drive a truck. I like Western boots, like I like I like all that kind of shit. I listen to a lot of like country ass music, but I don't talk like a hick because I'm not a fucking hick. I grew up in the burbs my entire fucking life. It's weird.
It is weird.
Anytime you're like pretending to be something that you're not, you're right. It's off-putting.
It is totally.
Yeah.
It's like, I want to expand it so that I don't want to pigeonhole this conversation in like as a racial one, because I don't want it to be written off as a prejudicial one. Like you can see like in the professional realm, there's like 1,000 examples that you could point to, because you have to kind of fake it until you make it in any field. You start doing something new. Guess what? You've never done it before. You have to learn it. Then you have to get better at it. And then you're going to get good at it. It's going to take time. So there are people, especially in the professional, like the white collar realm, that are so concerned about their image and their like reputation that they will refuse to admit that they don't know something. And you can see it; it's like a mile away. But the point is, it's completely inauthentic, and it's actually super obvious. So being inauthentic in any capacity is way more obvious than it seems, and way more off-putting that you're not getting away with it.
Yeah.
It's so. Go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
I wasn't going to say anything. So. But I think that you're right in general.
Yeah.
And like anything,
I also think that I'm right in general.
It's like anything. Like if you went to a gun, like a driving range, not a shooting range, and you were like acting like you knew everything about guns, and there were people there who really knew a lot about guns, they would be like, "This guy's a fucking retard, man. I hate this guy so much."
It reminds me of that story Joe Rogan always tells about that martial artist. That going to the Kumite in the woods of the forest.
Yeah. Pretty funny, man.
Yeah.
Dude, there is something about, I know that we're talking about how nobody likes a fraud, and that's true and all that, but there is something about like the 90s and before when you could get away with a lie. If you had charisma, you could just cook up an identity for yourself. You could move like from this side of the county to the next side of the county, or just like to the county over, and just be a completely different person.
You're right.
Just lie your ass off, have a second family.
Yeah.
And I know that's not good. I'm not saying, like, we were just talking about how being a fraud is like, it's like naturally repulsive and people don't like it. And obviously lying is bad, but I don't know, man, there's something that is like, there's something that I wish we still had about it. I don't know what it's a weird thing to say because I feel like we're talking about bad things.
Yeah.
But
I also think that the 90s, the 90s, pretty much all of the 90s was a time where race relations in the United States were as good as they've ever been. And there was more integration, there was less hostility, and there was more cultural blending, I think, than ever in American
Which is
history.
weird because we also had like the LA riots and stuff, which were clearly bad points, like Rodney King. I mean, that was LA riot stuff, but
Yeah. I feel like California is like a world of its own in that regard. I think the rest of the world, the rest of the country, apart from California, was getting along great.
Yeah. You ever watch any of the like short documentaries about the rooftop Koreans from
No.
the LA riots? No? There's like a lot of Korean people who live in LA too, and they open like grocery stores and stuff like that. They're an industrious people.
Sure.
Yeah.
And
a lot of them came over to America and they had served in the military, so they were like kind of badass, like a lot of Asians are, like they're a martial people.
Sure.
So they came over to America, and then the LA riots happened, and they were just tearing up all kinds of places, and a lot of these Asians had these Koreans, like I said, had military service and guns, and they just started, they got up on the rooftops of their shops and they were just defending their places.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Taking people out from the rooftops.
That's the most American shit I ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
Protecting your private property with a gun.
With guns as a Korean.
As if there's any other way to do it.
I mean, you could have a bomb, a knife.
No, because
there's many other ways.
That's how they fight in the Middle East,
Pete's.
And that's how they fight in England with knives.
That's true. Well, you said the Middle East, so you didn't have to say England.
Bombs with excuse me. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. What are we at? We're at 30 more minutes. Let's see. What do I want to get to? What about all these scientists that are going missing? What about all these scientists that are associated with nuclear technology in the NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory going missing?
I don't know, man. I feel like it's aliens, probably.
You think these, because some of them are dying and some of them are going missing. I'm not sure the details of it all. I wrote down some. There was a guy named Michael Hicks who was in the JPL, the Jet Propulsion Lab. He died in July of 2023. He was 59. They didn't do an autopsy on him, so they made it out like that was maybe atypical to not do it. But I don't know. Monica Reza, she was the director of materials at JPL. She vanished without a trace, so she's missing. Maybe dead, but who knows?
Yeah.
Frank Maywad, also JPL, 61 years old, dead. Carl Grillmar from Caltech, murdered on his front porch in February. William Neal McCaslin, an Air Force general, went missing. He oversaw a classified space weapons program at Wright-Patt. So it's all tied in with NASA and the JPL.
Yep.
These are just a handful. So some of them are dead and some of them are missing. And so you wonder, like, the ones that are missing, are they dead? Or are they working on some super top secret thing and they're just like literally disappeared? Or did they defect? Or did they get captured by some foreign intelligence apparatus? Like, what's going on, man?
Is this confirmed that this has happened, that these people are missing?
Yeah, the ones that are, yes. So all the ones that died are confirmed or missing are confirmed. And when I wrote this down, there was 9 of them, and there are now 10 of them. So there's a new one added to the list.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. I don't know what to think about that.
One of them is a general, dude. A general, a U.S. military general. Is it? Yeah, Air Force General William Neal McCaslin, a general in the Air Force, goes missing.
I don't know what to say about that.
Here's an interesting idea. Well, it's not a great idea, but it's fun. I'll talk about it because some of them are dead. So like this is probably not the case. But what if it's like who is John Galt? It's one of those situations where they're disappearing.
They're going to Galt's Gulch,
but they're like they went somewhere and they're working on some top secret, or they're just participating in their own society, isolated from everyone else, and they're just living out there with all the smart jet propulsion people and in some kind of like paradisal utopia of smart people
having orgies,
just orgies and like
real smart people orgies,
jet propulsion liquids.
Yeah, dude. Well,
liquid plasma.
It's like, it reminds me of who's the guy who was all into witchcraft, who was doing rockets and stuff.
Oh, I was gonna say Crowley, but you say rockets.
Yeah, he was into Crowley. He was like a Crowley disciple.
That was into rockets?
Yeah, he worked for NASA. He blew himself up doing some kind of like
garage alchemy.
It was like some kind of mix between rocket stuff and magic.
And occult magic?
Yeah,
really?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I don't know who this guy is.
Oh man, it's like a real American name.
Oh, let's find out.
Jack Parsons. I'm 99% sure that's it. Jack Parsons.
Let's see.
It's a really good song.
Pioneering rocket engineer and chemist who founded JPL.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, let's see. Jack Parsons. Let's see what the juicy gossip is about him.
There's a really good song by the band The Claypool Lennon Delirium about this guy. It's a good song, yeah.
It says here he converted to Thelema, a religious movement founded by occultist Aleister Crowley.
Told you.
He and his wife Helen joined Crowley's Ordo Temple Orientis. Wow, in the 1940s. Wow. What happened to him?
Scroll down to death, dude. Let's see. He definitely blew himself up.
Bracing Thelema. I don't exactly know if that's like theosophy stuff. We'll have to check that out. Boy, he's got a big old profile, man.
He did a lot of shit.
L. Ron Hubbard, what is that? Dissociated from the JPL, Parsons and Foreman founded the Ad Astra Engineering Company. It's to the stars, Ad Astra, under which Parsons founded the chemical manufacturer Vulcan Power Company. What does it have to do with L. Ron Hubbard?
Parsons befriended L. Ron Hubbard.
Scientific writer and Navy officer L. Ron Hubbard soon moved to the parsonage, and he and Parsons became close friends. Really? So this is a guy that was a pioneering rocket scientist and chemist for NASA, who was a follower of the Satanist Aleister Crowley and his buddies with L. Ron Hubbard.
Yeah.
Holy shit, man.
Yep.
Wow. Is there a movie or a documentary about this guy?
I think there actually might be a movie coming out about him. I think maybe I just heard that recently.
FBI. He was involved with the Red Scare, Marxism. Dude, this is crazy. Death. Here we go. He decided to travel to Mexico for a few months. He took a job opportunity establishing an explosives factory for the Mexican government. Oh, wait, I see the word Israel. What does it say? They hope this would facilitate a move to Israel where he could start a family. Blah, blah, blah. I see barbiturates. Okay. When his mother learned of his death, she immediately took a fatal overdose of barbiturates. What happened to him? He was found conscious by the, let's see. 1952, a day before their planned departure, Parsons received a rush order of explosives for a film set and began to work on it in his home laboratory. An explosion destroyed the lower part of the building, during which Parsons sustained mortal wounds. He blew himself up.
Yeah.
Wow, man. I'm going to go back up to this Thelema stuff because I've heard that before, but I don't really know.
I think it's the thing that Crowley created, Thelema.
Oh, you're right. I think you're right. No, I don't even see it.
It's his own little cult.
There it is, Thelema. I
gotta listen to that song, that Claypool Lennon Delirium song.
Yep, founded by Aleister Crowley. Yeah. So Crowley's interesting, man, because there's so much overlap between the mysticism that I like and people like him, and like this ritual magic, occult, devil worshipy type people.
Yeah.
And I don't like feel any kinship to them at all. But there's so much overlap between the stuff that they're into and the stuff that I'm into that I don't really know what to think about that.
Yeah. Well, you can kind of just go any crazy direction you want to, you know, like that almost sounds like an insult. I don't mean it as an insult, but when you don't have like the guardrails of like Catholicism or something like that, you know, you can kind of just veer off in any kind of direction possible. You know what I mean?
Totally. I think that like the philosophical difference between my mystical perspective and theirs is that I don't think that I don't understand how God can be petitioned. So people that think that there's power in the spiritual world that is something you can tap into, whether it be like something like voodoo dolls and being able to inflict damage on somebody physically or psychically.
Yeah.
Or if it's like doing a sacrifice to God to forgive your sins or to grant you victory in battle or to tell you the future or all these things that people think you can do. I've seen no evidence of this. So I'm very reluctant to say that there's some way of tapping into some force, power, energy, influence that is spiritual that we have any control over. Like, is it possible that there's supernatural shit that happens in the world or miracles or whatever? Yes, but I didn't cause it, right? If something like that happens, it's because, God willed it. It's not something that I convinced God to do. I don't think it makes sense to say that you can manipulate God or petition
Is that how
God.
You see it in the Bible?
I think, boy, how else would you think about it? Like, if I sacrifice an animal and by doing so, I expect God's favor or forgiveness, I'm either purchasing it or I am manipulating God into doing my bidding. The second one seems outrageous, that I can manipulate God to do my bidding. The creator of heaven and earth, Kyle. And then the first one seems strange and petty, that I'm purchasing it. Like even in the Christian tradition, the thing about indulgences, it's like it was determined to be a great sin that the church decided that it could sell forgiveness for sin. Isn't that what Simon Magus did? And tried to buy? Yeah, he tried to buy the powers that the apostles had, and all of this stuff is considered to be the greatest sin. I don't really know how to understand petitioning God, and unless you can shine some light on it, man, it seems to me those are the two options.
I just don't see it that way. I see it as, and I'm pretty sure the Bible explicitly describes it this way, as you are demonstrating your faith in God, and that is what is, that is what you like. If a miracle is performed, it was your faith that caused the miracle. It's not like you petitioned God and you like made your case. It's like, this is why you should heal my leprosy. This reason, logically, you should get rid of my leprosy.
Yeah,
that's not what it was.
Yeah, I think there's probably a good point there. There's a disconnect between the type of thing that I do when I'm like a teenager and I'm praying when I'm 14 years old and I'm doing my nightly prayer and I'm saying to God, please, my girlfriend hasn't started her period yet. And I would mean a lot to me if you would just let her have her period, because I don't want my life to be over. Because I made that prayer before many times. That seems different than a pagan scene where somebody is sacrificing an animal and dumping its blood onto the altar and saying, and pulling the entrails out and laying them on the ground and saying, oh God, allow me to read in the entrails what the outcome of this battle is going to be, or let this sacrifice, allow us to win your favor so that we can prevail in the battle. Like, that seems different to me. It seems like there's an exchange, like by the letter of the law, there is an exchange of value happening here. It's like a contract. That's what I mean.
I mean, I think I see what you're saying, but I feel like it's the same thing. Why would the tribes of Israel making a sacrifice of goats or something have any effect on, in like a rational sense? Why would that have any effect on a battle? It's not a barter with God. It's we're making the sacrifice because that's what we're supposed to do. It demonstrates our faith in you, and
yeah,
what you will to happen will happen.
I think that is a stronger argument in a Judeo-Christian context than it is in a Greco one, or an Egyptian one, or a Native American, like an Inca one. I think the Inca were tearing out people's hearts as a payment for the rain. Okay. That's what they were doing. So I think what it really boils down to for me is people that think that they can magically manipulate the world or magically enhance themselves by doing some ritual, or by controlling some divine power. I don't have any reason to think that's possible. So that's where I would fall away from someone like Crowley. Anybody who thinks that magic is possible, or like divination is possible. I'm not there. I'm still a mile away from thinking that that's real. Even though my beliefs are as mystical as theirs,
Why? Like, why couldn't magic be possible?
Why couldn't magic be possible? Well, I mean, I think, well, like I just said earlier, do I think that like a miracle is a thing that can happen? Like, I think it is. So if you call that magic, then fine. But man, I guess I have to kind of backtrack, because I've said some things before about like psychosomatic illnesses and about the placebo effect, and that is
magical.
Is kind of magical, and it's like you said about having faith. It's just a matter of belief. It's like you believe that you're healed, and you're healed. That's kind of an interesting parallel to what the whole argument that you made a minute ago. So I don't know what to make of that, man. Like, I got goosebumps right now. I don't know what to make of that.
You getting goosebumps, man.
I do be getting goosebumps.
You do be getting goosebumps. I don't know, like, why couldn't a person, I don't know, I guess I just thinking about it as petitioning God for something, I guess makes it a little weird, but like, why couldn't a person get a little magic? You know what I'm saying? Why couldn't a person like do a spell?
I mean, I don't know, man. Like, there are forces in nature that we can learn to manipulate, that in the past seemed like magic, like electricity and magnetism and stuff. You learn that there are these things, these components of nature that can be manipulated. And once you know that, you figure out all kinds of ways to do things you never could have done before. So the idea that there might be forces of nature that aren't material, but spiritual or psychic or something, and that once you understand them, you can learn to manipulate them. I can't say to you that that's not a possibility, because it happened many times. It's had happened with electricity and magnetism. It's happening with,
Quantum shit.
particle accelerators, and all this stuff, right? So it's possible, but I resist it. It seems, I don't know, it seems like woo, and I resist it. It seems arrogant. And again, this goes back to the idea of thinking that you can petition God in a way that, I don't know why it seems like I'm saying that I can manipulate God. I don't know why I just continue that. That's like something I'm falling back on. If I can do something to get God to do something for me, it just seems like a petty thing that doesn't quite fit the nature of God and man.
If your daughter comes to you and she asks you for something, like she says, "Daddy, can I have, I don't know, some candy?"
Yeah.
Is that manipulating you?
No. It could become that way once she realizes.
Sure. But it's not inherently.
No.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, it's so yeah. I mean, that's a point taken. Here's something. I maybe we have time for this. One last thing, and I didn't get to like everything that I had on here, but I was talking to Josh. We went and got coffee after we hung out that night, and we're just chatting about nerd shit and religion. And so this thing came up in the conversation I thought was kind of interesting. So I'll try to lay it out for you, and you tell me what you think. So we're talking about this idea of the body being the temple, right? The body as the temple of God, and what that means. And I was explaining to him that, like, in the classical world, a temple was considered to be a place where the God could come to rest.
Mm.
So the God is resting in the temple, so he's dwelling in the temple, and that's the place where his presence is, right? All that stuff. So the God comes to rest in the temple, on the altar, or whatever. And this whole idea of human beings being, or the body being the temple as a place that God comes to exist. So like having God in your heart, as the Christians like to say, or God within you, all that stuff. And this was the way the thing went. It's like when the Bible talks about the temple, or even like the tabernacles that were built for worshiping, there's like specifications. It's like the temple has to be built in a certain way, certain orientation, certain all that stuff. And it has to be done in a very particular way, because this is the place that God is going to reside.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so I'm making this connection here between, if the body is the temple, but the temple has these very specific specifications in order for it to be an appropriate place for God to exist, that maybe that means something. Like there's something about us that has to be done to be in line. There has to be something about us to be done to fit the specifications of the place where God can reside. There's something that's on us to build or construct ourselves so that we're worthy. This is what I connected it to. Do you remember when we had all these conversations about DMT and psychedelic spirituality? And one of the things that we talked about was smoking DMT and trying to have this experience that I once had, but I'm struggling to recreate it. And it's something like chasing the dragon, but it became like this sort of a desperate thing where I couldn't smoke enough of the most potent psychedelic known to man to recreate this experience. And I said, you remember me saying this? It felt as though I wasn't being allowed it. You remember that? And,
yeah.
and it's not just me. Like, a lot of people say this about DMT in particular. It's like you have this transcendent experience, and then you can't recreate it. And it's almost as like the drug is not permitting you to have that experience, and you have this realization that you're not ready for it or something. And I'm connecting this to the idea that if my body is the temple, but the temple has these specifications, and I am not living up to those specifications, that this is why I can't have the experience. This is why I'm being disallowed. I know this is a metaphor, but what do you think? Does it make any sense?
What do you think you're doing wrong? Like, what are you mucking up the joint with, In the
beginning, I think I wanted it too bad, and I wanted it for, I might say selfish reasons, you know?
Right. I could see that being a good reason.
Yeah, right. Like it was a beautiful experience and I wanted it because it was beautiful and not because not in a strictly pure sense. Like it was something that I wanted for like the wrong reasons or something. I don't know, man. I think that it may be the case that there's like a certain psychological space you have to get into. And maybe there's like, people talk about like ritual purity and like, you bathe before you go into church or like whatever. It's like, there's something that you need to do to be purified or to be, I don't know. There might be something to that that's more than the symbolic. That's more than just the symbolic sense of washing my sins off, like before I go into the temple or something.
Could be. When's the last time you had one of them kind of experiences?
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
And
you gonna go back to the well?
I could do it any day I want, and I just haven't. I just months and months.
What you waiting on?
I don't know. Partly there's like that fear and trembling. There's that there's that fear of knowing what might happen if I do it, because it happened once or twice before, and it's like a fear of death. It's like it's an equivalent of a fear of death.
Yeah.
And then there's all the like the justifications that like you come up with. It's like probably it's just that I'm afraid, but it's also like I have to has to be the right time. I have to have
Well, there's some like legitimate truth in that for you too.
Yeah.
So you can't just do it whenever you want to.
Exactly.
But you also can do it not whenever you want to, but you could make time to do it, if you really wanted to.
I'm also less convinced that there's gold in them there hills.
Yeah.
I think that the biggest value of a breakthrough psychedelic experience is the realization that there's more to conscious awareness than the material cosmos.
Yeah.
And once you know that, it's like the world is bigger than you think it is. It's dimensions deeper than you think it is. It's, I don't even have the language for it. Like maybe that's kind of all you need to know. It's like, once you know that, then you start seeking the truth of that. And I don't know that you can find that truth in the psychedelic experience.
Yeah.
At least not in a way that you can take with you. I don't know. Maybe I'm just getting older, and like I said, it's partly the fear, and I'm just being a little bitch.
Yeah.
Could be that I'm being a little bitch.
I really don't have much desire at all to do psychedelics anymore, especially not for like those types of reasons. Like, I don't want to take psychedelics and try to have some like kind of profound religious experience.
Yeah.
I could see myself like taking some acid and going to a concert or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think that maybe you might be surprised how much more valuable that experience would be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
Like, I feel like if you're like, I'm going to take 5 grams in silent darkness, you're like making it too much. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean.
You're like, that's almost like, I want it to be something. I'm going to try to make it something. You know what I mean? And you can't do that.
That's the mistake.
Yeah.
That's the mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wanting, you cannot will. So that's the thing, man. You try to will the experience and it crumbles.
Yeah.
It crumbles.
Or it
wrenches you into
something. It does something really bad.
It grabs you by the collar and goes, "Oh, really?
Yeah.
You think you can fucking?
You think you're in charge?"
Exactly.
Yeah. But I definitely could see myself like taking some acid, going to a show. That would be fun.
So here's the thought, man. Like, I was poo-pooing this idea of ritual magic and the idea that there might be some spiritual like powers that you could tap into if only you know how. Well, I literally am embarrassed. I'm like picturing myself right now in a dark room with candles and like a crystal ball. But I'm just like wondering, like, this is the kind of shit that like my mom or my grandma would have said, like
the devil shit.
Yeah, like you're opening yourself up. Yeah. This is bad. This is, I don't know. Like, is that something that is it worth experimenting with? Like, I don't know.
I'm inclined to not.
Yeah.
I don't know,
I'm inclined to not.
Like, I don't want any Ouija boards.
Yeah. I'll tell you what I shan't be doing. I shan't be getting grimoires or dictionaries of the demons and angels, and like, you know, putting like pentagrams on the ground and calling them by name.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah. Sometimes I watch YouTube videos that are like people who are really into like that demonology and stuff like that. It's fucking scary, dude. I don't like it. I like it, but I don't like it at the same time.
I'm not sure that I've seen like what tell me.
I'll send you some shit.
Okay.
It's like just people who like, you know, have gone really far down those like grimoire. Is grimoire the word I'm looking for? I don't know if it is or not, but
let me
I think it is. You don't have to look it up, or you can if you want to.
I don't know.
It's like a book of demons, like a book of information about demon, like the
book of magic. Yep.
Yeah, like the lower key of Solomon, things like that.
Yeah. Even like the Corpus Hermeticum, and the alchemist stuff.
The Malefius Maleficarum, the witch's hammer.
See, that's another thing, man, is the alchemy stuff, because Jung got into that.
Yeah.
And like that's the kind of thing that I would want to laugh at, like crystals and energy. I want to laugh at that. But Carl Jung didn't laugh at that, man.
Yeah.
He didn't laugh even at like astrology and stuff like that. He like sees a pattern and a meaning to it that's esoteric. And that stuff fascinates me, man. That's what the early Christians called gnosis, buddy.
Yeah.
The esoteric wisdom.
Yeah.
We're going to hell, both of us.
I mean, if you know, I couldn't blame him.
Hold on, wait. I know we're at time, but I got one more that I'd absolutely. There's really two that I was really hoping to squeeze in.
All right,
one of them is the Franklin scandal. Did you hear about the Franklin? Does this ring any bells to you?
Franklin the turtle?
No, it's just a White House thing.
Oh.
Let me look it up. Franklin.
Was it a child abuse thing?
Yes. Yeah. It was White House call boys. I'd never heard of this. Here it is, 1988 to 1990. Allegations in Nebraska claiming that prominent political and business figures were involved in a child sex trafficking ring. The claims generated enormous media attention, multiple investigations, and decades of conspiracy theories. But state and federal grand juries ultimately concluded the allegations were unfounded. But here's the thing, man. There was, I don't know what all these details are here, but there was some story about some White House staff giving tours of the White House to these boys that were at the White House when they weren't supposed to be, getting a private tour, and that they were call boys. So anyway, I never heard of it, and I just thought I wanted to bring it up. Is this news to you?
No, I've heard of the Franklin scandal. I feel like it was in Nebraska, right? Or was it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There was some other kind of thing that was tied to it. Some kind of a boys club or a boys home or something like that. I can't remember. But yeah, I've heard about that. It's been like so long that the details aren't really.
Listen to this. A private investigator, Gary Caradori, hired by the Franklin Committee, died with his son in a plane crash.
It's fucked up, man. It's fucked up.
Jesus. All right, but this was just one of them. But another one here. You remember how I was bringing you like crazy medical things? Well, I came across another one that I never heard of. It's absolutely fantastic, so I had to talk about it. There's not really much to talk about. We'll just tell you about it.
All right.
There's a psilocybe mushroom, I think it is, but it's got a special name because it only grows in like certain parts of Asia. But it's the same type of a magic mushroom. It is called, let me pull it in here. It's called Lanmoa asiatica.
Lanmoa asiatica.
Let's see what AI says about it. A hallucinogenic bolete mushroom found primarily in Yunnan, China, and parts of Philippines. It is unusual because it causes Lilliputian hallucinations.
Lilliputian.
Vivid visions of tiny people, despite containing none of the known psychoactive compounds of psilocybin. Okay, so it's a totally different mushroom. But what makes it unique is everyone who takes it has the same hallucination. And the hallucination is every surface you look at is covered in tiny people.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's insane.
Imagine looking down at your arms and it's just covered in tiny little people. You look down at the table, it's covered in tiny little people. Yeah. You look up at the trees, tiny people.
crazy, man.
What?
That's a crazy mushroom.
Like what in the actual fuck? What like physiological chemical process explains such a thing?
Who knows, man?
Let's ask. What physiochemical process explains such a thing? All right, probably misspelled it, but you know what? Grok is famous for understanding me.
Grok.
The most plausible explanation for the strange tiny people hallucinations is that the mushroom contains an unknown heat. What is that? Labial neuroactive compound that interferes with visual size perception pathways in the brain, specifically those governing micro.
That doesn't mean anything to me.
No, it
none
doesn't.
of that means anything to me.
People who eat the mushroom report miniature people, tiny animals, slow-moving figures in their periphery. Wow.
It's interesting. I kind of want to take it.
Wow.
See some little people, you know?
Oh, and here's the best part. A trip on this particular mushroom lasts up to 24 hours.
Whoa.
So you're seeing tiny people for a whole day.
That's crazy.
Yeah, man.
Got to get some of that. We got to do an episode on that.
Any final remarks?
Just stay the course, you know? Keep on keeping on. All that kind of stuff.
Tiny people, Franklin scandal.
Lilliputian.
Cleanliness is next to godliness. We covered it all.
That's from Gulliver's Travels, by the way.
What is?
Lilliputian. When Gulliver goes to that land where the people are tiny, that land is called Lilliput. So yeah. Lilliputian is
interesting.
Like, if you're from Lilliput, you're a Lilliputian.
You're a little, yeah. Like if you're from the Isle of Lesbos,
you're a Lesbos. You're a Lesbo.
That's where the famous lesbians came from.
Loving them tacos, you know.
And with that, cue the music.
Fucking lesbians.
Well, there you have it. That's one avenue explored, but infinitely more still to go. I hope you enjoyed thinking along with us. I know. It's not easy work. Thinking. It's hard and full of uncertainties, but I'm grateful for the company as we trek through this together. Here's to hoping that the juice is worth the squeeze. See what I did there? Let's find out together in the next episode.